was this one day where I was like late to class for 10, like by 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like really worried because I was at a school where I wasn't sure how well an
Yeah.
administrator would deal with that,
Yep.
or
Mm-hmm.
and it was like I was remembering the nightmare classroom that I had, my first year and what kids were
Mm-hmm.
doing. And I remember running down the hall, and then like I got to the classroom, and all the kids were just doing what they normally would do.
Wow.
And it was just a moment that like it forced me to like reevaluate how I was approaching kids, and like it started turning around this thing of like your relationship with them doesn't have to be adversarial, and it doesn't have to be like domineering. And it's much more organic when kids are just doing things because they're invested with you, and that they understood what to do for the first 10 minutes of class, and they could do it on their own.
Yeah.
And I think I still strive to like build classrooms where that's the case, where kids believe in the systems we come up with, so that they actually follow through them on their own. And then we can have a lot more fun and have a much, I think we can just learn more, and kids feel really good when they're learning. Like I think when they learn a lot, they're really proud of themselves, and that feeling is something that they take on with them. That it's powerful, the idea that you can do something, that you can learn something, that you can deal with something that's complex and come out on the other end of it feeling really good. And it taught me that I have a lot to learn, and that there isn't this, because I thought like I had figured it out, and then I realized, oh, there's no figuring it out. There's just the willingness to engage in a cycle of learning every day, and a willingness to understand that it's okay if you don't have all the answers, and it's okay if you're not in control all the time, because you're actually not in control all the time. Because there's 30 other people usually who have their own ideas and their own thoughts and have their own right to ownership of the room that you're in. And I think that was something that's something I still struggle with, with kids, like everybody else.
Yeah.
But it reminds me that it's okay to struggle with that. And it's okay to continue to work on this complicated relationship that you're forced into when you become a teacher. Not forced into, but the parts that feel forced, like ideally 30 of them is a lot, to try and get to know. So there are things that are outside of your control, but that's part of, it's part of learning, and that's part of doing our jobs.
Very true. Very true. I think that's such a great point. I feel like the term lifelong learner is always something you hear in the field of education, in undergrad, grad school, etc. And it's so true. Like, you really look at it, like you never have this job mastered. You're always the best teachers are the ones who are constantly learning, constantly growing, and view themselves as learners and understand that, so that they're constantly growing, and then view students as learners and know that they're constantly growing in their areas as well. And we're just in that process together, constantly learning and growing and learning and growing. That's the beauty of this job.